Meta has changed how to launch Meta ads. Now, just a quick reminder, Meta equals Facebook. We're just in that transition period, so I just need to remind everyone that Meta is Facebook, Facebook is Meta. The name change is going to take some time to get adjusted to. So even in this particular video, you're probably gonna hear me reference Facebook and Meta interchangeably just to get everybody acclimated, but also even I'm not used to it completely, so I may slip up here and there. But what's most important is you navigating with me how to launch a Meta ad the right way, because the interface has absolutely changed. So I'm gonna screen share and we're gonna get right into it. To get to this page right now, you still have to go to business.facebook.com/ads manager. And as Facebook transitions fully into Meta, understand that the URL is going to change, but this is the ads manager for all intents and purposes. So when you go to create a campaign, you're gonna see a radically different interface. And this interface is not out to everybody at the moment. This is actually one of the many ad accounts that I manage. So even my personal ad account does not have this new interface. So some of you may be seeing this for the first time, and when you're logging in into your particular ads manager, you're not seeing anything like this. You're probably seeing the old way of seeing it, which is completely okay. I just want to show you, as new features, new interfaces get rolled out, they go in phases. So this is a brand, not a brand new account, but it's a newer account. So that's why the newer accounts typically get the new interfaces first, because they don't know any better or don't know any different. So this particular ad account, again, is one that I'm managing. With all that being said, let's get going. So I'll X out of that real quick. The awareness, show your ads to people who are most likely to remember them. So the awareness is still the same. So this, if you remember the old interface, on the right-hand side, you would see, let me show you real quick. You have a good comparison of the way that it used to be. This one's right here, cool. So on the left-hand side, you would see awareness, brand awareness, and reach. Here is still the same thing. You see reach and brand awareness. Now traffic, over here you'd see traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, and messages. This is where the big change happens. So here on traffic, what you see are just clicks. You see link clicks and landing page views. So here, send people to a destination like your website, app, or Facebook event. So it's traffic. Again, it's just getting the click, getting people to a certain place on the internet that you want them. So this is what traffic was all about under the consideration part. And when you go to engagement, now you see messages, you see video views, and likes, comments, and shares. So video views and messages was actually its own standalone. So you see here, video views and messages was standalone, but now it's under the engagement tab. So that's a big distinction that I wanted you to see. And that's why we're doing this, I guess, the split screen, if you will. Let me zoom in here so you kind of see the differences on what it looks like now. And then leads, you see instant forms, you see messages, calls, and signups. No direct way to compare them, but you see messages is actually both in engagement and in leads. So here's where you start talking about messenger bots, is where you start talking about all that fun stuff. But you see the instant forms, that's still the same. That's how you would collect leads. Over here on lead generation, it would be through the forms. That was your option. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna forgo the app promotion, because very few real estate agents are sending people to app installs. And then on sales, same thing. Very few real estate ads are sending them to direct sales unless there's a product or things of that nature. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the leads campaign, which is gonna look a little bit different. And the majority of the change will actually happen on the ad set level. So here, we're gonna forgo the name, just name it something that you can readily identify as you start reviewing your campaigns. Nothing has changed from the special ad category. On the contrary, it continues to get more and more restricted. So just be cognizant of that. If you're running a credit, employment, housing, social issues, elections, or politics types of campaign, you do need to identify that it's under the special ad category. And since this is a real estate ad, we're gonna select housing. And one of the questions that comes up is, well, I'm not asking people to use me. I just want people to know that I'm a real estate agent. Well, simply by you letting people know that you're a real estate agent, you're tacitly implying use me as your real estate agent. So it doesn't matter if you're just launching an ad for the sake of launching it. If you are launching an ad that has been categorized, if you're launching an ad that from a page that has been categorized as a real estate agent or providing real estate services, it's going to be difficult to get an ad approved altogether if you don't select housing. So in other words, if you're a real estate agent with the sole purpose of generating business in real estate, go to housing. No other way around it. Just go to housing. Avoid yourself a lot of heartache. And you see the countries that it's that has the additional requirements, or the requirements that we're talking about. Right now it's the United States, then it went to Canada, and it's gonna end up going into basically everywhere if I had to guess. So you see how declaring the category helps. Then you can go in and see their policy about how this is supposed to prevent discrimination, the special ad category requirements. You can see the modified audience options, modified form options, and increased transparency. So if you click on those, it'll give you a little bit of a breakdown on how the audiences now work and how this modified form options actually precludes you from asking for certain information that you were once able to ask for. And then the increased transparency. So it's basically saying that we're going to identify what this page is doing in efforts of increasing the transparency of who's actually running these ads, as opposed to running what was used to known as phantom accounts, where you would just launch campaigns with no transparency and people were going out and doing some nefarious. All right, so that's what we're talking about there. As we continue going, we're gonna forgo the A/B split testing. I don't use that all that often in my business, or when we're launching ads, I like to split test them manually on the back end. In campaign budget optimization, what this says is you can select an entire budget for, regardless of how many ad sets you have or how many ads you have. It's just a global budget for the campaign. So if you say, I want to spend $100 today, every day moving forward, and I want to have 3 ad sets with 2 ads in each, which is going to equal to 6 different types of ads, and I want you, Facebook, to optimize for me, that's what I'm saying when I select the campaign budget optimization. So for our purposes today, we're actually going to leave that on just so you see what it looks like. Now the ad set name, again, make sure that you label this. Don't just leave it like this, because you're going to kick yourself come next day, next week, next month, when you come back here and try to remember what was I advertising? I really can't remember. Be as specific as possible here, because it's going to help you when you're reviewing your ads moving forward. Now this is really where the big switch happens. When you look at conversion location, select the location where you want the customer action to take place. Remember, this is a leads campaign that we selected on the objective, I'm sorry. So whereas before we would select lead generation and we knew that it was going to be a lead form, now you have the option of converting on the website. So basically converting it more like a traffic campaign. Instant forms, which is what you most typically, if you run lead generation forms, that's what we're talking about. That's where you're most comfortable with. Messenger, that's where you could start integrating some messenger bots if you so choose. Calls, putting your phone number out there or putting a button so people can click on that and immediately calling you. And then an app install. So you can see here, you can kind of take people to a traffic campaign style or an app install style, even within this campaign objective. But we're gonna stick with instant forms. Then you're gonna select your Facebook page and of course accept the lead ads terms for this page. You still have to affirm and confirm that you are not going to discriminate and all that fun stuff. Then you have your, I'm not gonna worry about dynamic creative. That's gonna be more if you had various products, various services, various things to offer, as opposed to helping buyers buy or helping sellers sell. Well, there's 2 options right there. It's not gonna have too many. You don't have to worry about shoe sizes. You don't have to worry about colors. You don't have to worry about different styles. That's what dynamic creative is going to help you with more, in my opinion. And then you have the when you want your ads to launch. You can of course select when you want the campaign to end and all that fun stuff, but we're not going to worry about that at the moment. So this is where you would call back the audiences. This is going to look very similar if you run ads before. If you haven't, then this is brand new to you. This particular section didn't change all that much. You can still have saved audiences. You can still use special ad category audiences. and you still select where you want your campaigns to launch. So the radius has not changed, so you can go to living in, and if you wanted to select Dallas as an example, given that you are in the special ad category, you start off with a minimum 15-mile radius as opposed to a 10-mile radius and being able to go down to a 1-mile radius. That type of flexibility only exists for those campaigns that are not being launched within the special ad category. So remember, if you're running credit, employment, housing, or social issues / politics, if you're running those types of campaigns, then you can get down to the micro level. But since we're running and launching a housing ad, a real estate ad, an ad for buyers, an ad for sellers, then we do start off with the 15-mile radius at minimum. And we're advertising to the entire age group on Facebook above 18 years of age, both male and female, so we're identifying both genders. And then from a detailed targeting standpoint, you can't go into demographics and you really can't go into behaviors, but you can still select interests. So if somebody's interested in Zillow, as an example, if somebody's interested in Realtor.com, you can select those interests within here. And now one quick note, because I get this quite a bit, campaigns ad set may get 0 leads. Don't worry about that. That's going to continue to show up regardless of what adjustments you make. So that's something that, unless you see it for your eyes that this ad's really not working, don't worry about this notification. This will usually pop up whenever you go to manual placements and forgo placing them everywhere. So here you select where you want the ads to show up. You see the previews right here, and if I only want the ad to show up in the Facebook news feeds, I can select that particular placement and forgo all the others. So this is what we're talking about right here. Let's see here. And lastly, the estimated audience. It's an estimated audience for a reason. It's not going to be dialed in perfectly. And the audience definition, unless you get so specific where you do a lot of and functions here, where they have to like Facebook and like Tony Robbins and like real estate and like X, Y, and Z, this audience definition will rarely get to too specific. So you do have to kind of start off broad and then go down from there. So as you can see here, the main thing is selecting the lead forms, or the website, or the messenger, or the app installed at the top that we kind of saw earlier. That's the main change that would happen in this particular ad set. If we go on to the ad, so again, we started at the campaign level, so overall the objective, which is the leads, and then the ad set where we select who we want to target, where we want to target geographically, meaning in Dallas, and then also, in this particular instance, Dallas, and then also the placement on Facebook or on Instagram or networks. That's what happens at the ad set level. And then what happens at the ad level is you creating the ad. So now when we go down here and we add an image as an example, so you kind of see the display. And then here, I'm going to give you just one very brief ad that you can launch a very effective Facebook ad campaign with. And it's called a just listed ad. You can put credible new home just listed in Dallas. So what we're saying here is we're identifying where this home is, the status of it, so just listed, and then we're going to put an appealing feature here, so located lakeside views, and then any other unique feature you want to add there. Click learn more for price, more photos, address, and virtual tour. Now this right here has absolutely made a lot of agents a lot of money. This very simple campaign, the just listed campaign, can absolutely crush it for you. You just have to go out there and launch it, find a property that has just been listed, identify a unique feature to the property. It could be remodeled kitchen, it could be remodeled bathrooms, it could be a new roof, it could be whatever the case may be that would be unique to this home to really stand it out, and click learn more and you're on your way. So just listed home will not last. And then you would go through and create a form. So here you would just go to create the form, You of course have to reaffirm and confirm that you are not going to discriminate. Go to settings and open the settings so people can share your ad, and other people that were not served the ad can actually give you their contact information. Name the form, leave it with more volume, give it a brief intro. So the intro could be just listed home, will not last. Go to questions. Where may I send you additional information? Here in the message. Delete that. Add the first name. Add the phone number, rearrange them. So you're asking for the first name, the email, and the phone number. So when somebody clicks on your ad, they're gonna automatically have their information that they willingly gave to Facebook, so you know it's correct, be input here. So they're logging in with an email, so it's obviously a valid email, or else they wouldn't be here. They're logging in with their phone number in many cases. They gave their real phone number, so that's what would populate here to begin with. It's not something that they have to fill in themselves. And you for sure, absolutely, hear me clearly, have to include a privacy policy. You would put the link here, and then you just put privacy policy here, literally just the words, and you're good to go. Now, if you don't have a privacy policy, absolutely get one before you start launching ads. This is one of the best ways that Facebook can kick you. See, there I said Facebook instead of Meta, and I've been using Facebook for quite a while. So Facebook Meta, Facebook Meta, Facebook Meta, same thing. This is one of the reasons that Meta will kick you out if you do not have a appropriate privacy policy that lets people know what you're going to do with their information. Thanks, you're all set. And then I would put here, check your inbox for additional details, and then call business is what I would go with, and then put your phone number right there. So now that you have a good understanding of the new Meta interface, let me know down below if you're currently launching any ads and what have been your results.